So we're gonna go straight to the first question. My first question to you will be: years after Africans freed themselves from Europe's savage oppression, yet they still speaking European languages and giving their kids European names. Can we consider Africans to be still under some sort of colonization?
Yeah.
So there's
100%.
100%. Very interesting. Then it means you agree that there is some sort of neo-colonialism ongoing on the continent, which is keeping African people colonized.
Yeah.
Neo-colonialism is
Africa is not completely free.
It's not, Africa is not completely free. Very interesting. As you can see, to our viewers, the brother is putting it as it is. Africa is not completely free, and that is the pure truth. And we are grateful that the brother is saying it. Next question will be: can a nation consider itself free when its language of communication is still the oppressor language? That's the question.
Well, it cannot really be considered free, but somehow freedom is in the mind. You know, if you think that you are free, then you are free. But if you think that you are not free, certainly you are not.
Okay. Now, the freedom is not only in the mind. The reality is our women are being forced to put plastic hair, because they have to try to look like the European women. That's a fact. That is one of that means we're living in an environment which teach us to view ourselves in a bad way and try to be other people. And that is not, part of is in the mind. Because why would we want to speak other people's language when we have our own languages? And those people happen to have imposed us those languages, isn't it? Like giving our kids their names.
Yeah, you know also like the media, for instance.
Yeah.
The media is dominated by what is. We don't control the media.
Exactly. Very best point of the day. You can hear it said. I didn't say it. The brother saying it. Man, you can continue.
Yeah. So if you see something so many times, that thing sticks in your mind, and you think that is the pattern of behavior. You know?
Exactly. I mean, this is Africa speaking. I mean, it's the voice of Africa speaking through the brothers, and that is exactly what is happening. We are behaving based on what is put in our mind 24/7 on the TV, magazine, newspaper, because the people that enslaved and brutally colonized Africa control the media. They are shaping our opinion and mindset based on their own agenda of feeding us negativity about ourselves, because whoever control the media control public opinion. So that's a very interesting point and very powerful. Do you think an African leader can challenge that supremacy, can challenge Europe's supremacy in Africa without being vilified like they did Mugabe? Do you think an African leader can oppose Europe madness, because that's due to Europe domination? Do you think an African leader can oppose that madness without him being totally vilified by the European propaganda machine?
I think everything depends on the approach.
Okay.
Like if you look, for instance, you find a person like Nelson Mandela, then you find that he actually succeeded to reverse that idea of supremacy, but without being verified. So it means that the approach is very
how did he reverse the idea of supremacy? Because you must stop having facts in you. Don't rely on what the media feed you, because remember, you yourself said they control the media and they feed us what they want. You must understand, don't they have an agenda in portraying Mandela like they portray him? Because because they control the media. What did he do concretely more than other ANC leaders? Because he was in jail 27 years. When you're in jail, apartheid do to you what they want. You have no power. The struggle was being fought outside from the African ANC leaders that were free. So how did Mandela reverse supremacy, because there is supremacy. They control all the land. They control the entire economy. The language is still dominant. They own the mines, the whatever. So, which reverse you're talking about?
See, I think what he has done is basically what has happened in all the African countries, where you find that Africans are politically free, but they are not economically free.
They are not. So, they are politically free.
Yeah. But they are not economically free.
I don't think they are even politically totally free. It's still colonization, because they are not doing based on how it should be done. They are doing. They are still following the trend, the European sect. Because then that means he hasn't done almost nothing.
Yeah.
So what credit? Based on which credit do you give him then? Because obviously he's a hero, like Zuma is a hero, like Mbeki is a hero, because all of those people fought, right? So what makes him more than other heroes? You understand?
Yeah.
Because there is no point, because the system was not the supremacy system was not brought down. It's just being reformed, patched out. So the system is still there. They're still on top. You
know, I think as quoted the example of Mugabe.
Yeah.
I think the real tide is around the economy. I think economic liberation is more difficult than political liberation, because you can understand that all these things they are about economic power. The idea of colonization was not for political reasons, it was for economic reasons. And therefore it is easy to be liberated politically than to be liberated economically.
I don't think it's easy, because it took us more than 350 years to liberate ourselves. So that means none of them is easy, because 350 years is a very long time. 500 years, 400 years for many, and that means it was not easy also politically to get liberated. I believe the purpose of them enslaving, colonizing, was economical and supremacist. It means because they didn't only play with economy, they touch our culture, they impose us their names, and in the process destroying ours. Because when we don't give ourselves our names, they disappear. They impose us their languages. So it was not only economic, it was cultural, social, culture. They wanted to keep us enslaved for eternity. So the good thing is you agree that there is still some sort of colonization ongoing. So you support us pushing the struggle for total liberation from Europe domination.
Exactly.
You support that. Very interesting. So you going back to the question, you said an African leader can challenge Europe domination without being vilified, depending on the approach. Are you sure of that? That because they, if you look at what they did, if you understand it, you're gonna know that they have reached a level of madness that no more human can think of. Because they come into your land, they turn you into slave, they abduct your people, they rape countless number of things, they impose you their names, their language. They even tell you that you were animals or primitive before they came. You understand? Exactly. So if you look at that, from that it's almost impossible to challenge the supremacy before being vilified. Look at how they went against Zuma, for example. Zuma is not even aggressive toward them or anything, but they vilify him, trying to break him down. You see that? So and Martin Luther King, he was killed, but he was pacifist. He had a good approach. He was talking peace, right? But they killed him. So I don't believe that the approach is whatever. This people approach is only we don't want.
Exactly.
You understand? You support that?
I think the idea that it is more difficult for us to be liberated economically than politically.
We are not even free politically, because mainland Europe still run Africa. They put puppets in power and they decide who do what. So we're not even free politically. We have some sort of freedom, partial freedom.
Because if you are free, 100% politically, then it is easy for you to liberate yourself.
Exactly. But because they're still holding us somewhere, that's why economically we're not free.